I'd like to thank you. Um, as you know, in today's trying times, we're being basically made to eat outside because of COVID and stuff. So basically our patio heaters and others have becoming much more important. So what I'd like to do is go through our line and explain why we call it the luxury outdoor products. So if we could have the first screen. Okay, we have three different models or types of patio heaters. We have the even tube, the even glow, and the habanero. All of them do enhance all of them in good quality, and that's the way we make it. Can I have the next screen? Okay, we have four different types of the even glows. The portable LP, the portable natural gas, the permanent mount, and the hanging one. We have two different models of the habaneros, and we have various models of the even tube. Next. First, we're going to talk about is the even tube. Next. As I mentioned before, we have four different types. We have the portable LP even tube, as you can see on the far left. The next one would be our portable natural gas, or it could be LP as well. Next, we have what we call our permanent mount, and then we have our hanging version. These are ideal for restaurants, new buildings, rooftop patios, hotel bars, outdoor living, temporary outdoor patios, and people's backyards. They come in three different finishes: black, stainless steel, and bronze. Next, the four features we have with our heater that separates us from the competition is first our reflector, our emitter, the torch, which we'll show you, and the bottom reflector. Next. Okay, the top reflector. The top reflector is about 39.5 inches in diameter. It's the largest in the industry. It's one solid piece. And I say that because I've seen other type of heaters where they literally crumple from the weight of the snow, and they're usually made up maybe one or two or three different pieces. Ours are heavy duty spun aluminum, and we have a 4-arm support system as well, which guarantees no warping. Next. The emitter. The emitter is made of a mash screen stainless steel. It's, like I said, 309 stainless steel, unmatched durability, aesthetically appealing. We have a 3-year warranty. It helps create an even heat distribution, and it's definitely the most efficient one in the industry. Next. The torch flame, it's my favorite. It's an open flame design. Unlike a lot of the competitors, which are screened and that gets hot, you actually see the flame on this. And if you want to play the video, I'll show you. Now, when you get into the nighttime, you can keep playing it. It looks like a torch. It looks very nice, aesthetically pleasing, something much different than the competitors have. Okay, next. The bottom reflector. The bottom reflector dramatically increases the heat output. So the infrared goes in the shield, hits the bottom reflector, comes back out. Improves the radiant pattern, no hot spots. I myself, you literally could go right underneath the heater and you don't feel anything, and yet it will spread out more than any other heater in the market. Next. This is just a simple example of our heater compared to a competitor's heater with a much smaller shield. And as you can see with ours, we have a high and a low in our 2-stage, where a lot of competitors just have the single stage. You can see the spread ratio is much larger on the diagrams above, and that's because we have a much larger shield, which is quite frankly, and the emitter and everything combined. Next. Okay, we have the models here. We have the stainless steel portable LP. We have here in the second one, we show the tank coming up, which we'll show later in the video as well. It has a manual modulating dial on it, so you could set it at various temperatures. And we mentioned before, it comes in stainless, black, or bronze. We have a safety tilt switch. a quick disconnect for the propane tank regulator. It's 140 pounds, which makes it very durable. Wind will not knock it down. And it also has a wheel kit on the back. Next. Okay, the Even Glow portable natural gas version. This one, as you can see, also comes in 3 different finishes. We have the stainless, the black, and the bronze. This also can be available in LP as well. They do come with a hose, a quick connect hose. It either be 12 feet or 15 feet. Very easy to assemble. Again, 130 pounds, so very resistant to being knocked over by the wind. And if by chance it does get knocked over, there's a tilt switch in there. Keep that from happening. Safety tilt switch. Okay, the permanent mount. The permanent mount, again, comes in the 3 finishes. You can either fasten it to a concrete piece and bolt it in, because it does come with a plate, and we'll talk about that. We'll show you that later. Or you can put it in the ground if you want, or whatever you want to do. All different variations you can do. It comes in a 24-volt control, so you use a 2-stage switch to control it. Again, it also has a tilt switch as well. Next. Okay, what we see right here is how the permanent mount fixes to the ground. On the top, you can hide the connections with an underground box, what we call a vault box. Literally, so the only thing, as you can see on the right picture, you'll see is the actual pole, and that's it. Everything's in ground, the connections from the gas line, all that. Or if you want, you can put it on a concrete post or cast, as you can see on the bottom picture there, and come in from that point. Next. This one's our hang-in version. We use this quite a bit in patios where, and we'll mention again, we'll show it to you, but Boston Pizza is a good example. The height is very good. It hangs, you can hang it quite high, and it gives you lots of room. So if you got the ceiling height, you can put it up there. You don't have to worry about below, about tables or poles being in the way. You can mix it any way you want. Next. Okay. You can play the video.
Hi, I'm Gary Dummer, Canadian National Sales Manager.
And I'm Justin Merritt, Business Development Manager.
And we're here to discuss the Even Glow, some of the features, and when you would use it. One of the things I like about this heater is torch. And the reason why I like that, because at night, it gives you that nice flame approach. It really looks nice at night, and the ambience is really nice. Not only does it put out a lot of heat, but it looks very much like a tiki torch, which is something—
The video ain't working, Christian.
Great point. And then
You need to, the video isn't working, Christian.
Hi, I'm Gary Dummer.
Now it's working.
Sales Manager.
I'm Justin Merritt, Business Development Manager.
And we're here to discuss the Even Glow, some of the features, and when you would use it. One of the things I like about this heater is torch. And the reason why I like that, because at night, it gives you that nice flame approach. It really looks nice at night, and the ambience is really nice. Not only does it put out a lot of heat, but it looks very much like a tiki torch, which is something different that all the other competitors don't have.
Great point. And then aside from that, this heater is very easy to control with a variable dial, high and low. And as you work your way down, we're at 140 pounds in this model, the propane model, without the tank. So that's 140 pounds without the tank, very heavy duty, very robust. You're not going to see this blow over in the wind. It's equipped with wheels and a weighted base.
Finally, one of our features here is how to replace the propane. And you'll see there's 2 special buttons here that pop out that holds it in place. So you go inside, you take the tank off, you put it away, you press the buttons again, and the case slides back down. In addition to our portable LP version, we also have a portable natural gas version right here.
Yeah, so sometimes you have a client that's a little tight for tank space, they can't get a permit to have tanks on site, or they just have no access to LP. we have a natural gas solution for this. And what we can do is offer this model. It's the same from the top third of the heater up, so that's why we're not showing it. But from the top down, we offer a 15 or 12 foot natural gas hose with a quick connect on the end, and the connection is made in the base here. So this unit is, again, portable. So it does come with wheels, it has your tip switch, and a weighted base in the bottom, so it is very robust. And what are the stock finishes again?
Stainless, black, and bronze. Another one of our even glow models is our permanent mount.
Yep, so what we have here is an alternative solution, ideal for new builds. So if you're building a home and we can run the gas underground, we can attach this unit right to the floor. Any new build restaurants, new build hotels, rooftops, the applications are really endless if you get ahead of the planning, because this unit comes with a flange welded on the bottom that you would attach to the floor. The gas hose would run down the post and come down out here. So this could be natural gas or propane. And again, it looks very similar to the top half of this unit.
Another feature about this particular model is it has a 24-volt two-stage switch control, which either we can provide or you can get that on your own. And that pretty much covers this one. Another one of our units is our hanging even glow, which we use extensively in companies like Boston Pizza. One of the features they have with those is that it's good for high ceiling applications, and it allows you lots of room to move your tables and that around with no poles in the way. And other than that, that pretty well covers our product line.
Okay, sorry about the glitches. Now, the next product I want to talk to is the habanero. There's a few examples of some pictures here, but if we can go to the next slide. Okay, we have two different sizes. We have the Hab 20, which is 20,000, comes in stainless or black, or we have the 40 or 50,000 that comes in stainless and black, and it is about 48 inches, and the Habanero 20 is 33 inches. These are mostly used for small patios, restaurants, pergolas, waiting places, anywhere where you want to put a lot of heat in a small area. It's basically a spot heater, and we use it for those type of applications where you don't have a lot of room to get anything longer or bigger, and you just want to heat a small area. As I mentioned already, it comes in black or stainless steel. And I do want to mention that the black is a Cerakote high temperature paint. So it's very durable. Next. Okay, again, the Hab 20, we'll do this quickly. As I mentioned before, it's 33 inches in length. It's a two-stage, comes with a 24 control. You can use a two-stage switch or something else. It comes in 20, or the two-stage is either a high of 20,000 or a low of 15. We mentioned already about the stainless steel or the black. We talked about the high temperature paint. We do have as low as 3 inches of clearance on the top with a low clearance mounting kit, which is a separate item you can get if clearance is an issue. The burner itself, as far as the ceramic tile, is made in Germany, so it's very high quality. The rest of it we make here in Canada, and it's roughly recommended between 8 or 9 feet from the bottom of the heater for hanging heights. Next. The next models is the Hab 4 or 50. So basically 40,000 or 50,000. As you can see over there, it comes with the 40, you can go 40 to 32,000. With the 50, you can go from 50 to 42,000. Again, it's available in stainless steel or black finish. As we mentioned before, the Cerakote high temperature paint is used on it. We can be as low as 9 inches from the top of clearances if we use the clearance mounting kit, which comes as a kit. Again, it's made in Germany, and we're reviewing it. Next. Okay, the Habanero has a little better coverage than some of the other stuff out there. Use an example there, 50,000, you can cover about 12 feet to 12 feet versus some of the competitors, which you can see on the right, much less. And below you can see a 50,000 heated area, 128 square feet, and the amount of energy used about 391 BTUs per square foot. Or some of the others, you can take a 34,000 and you would end up with a 56 square feet coverage and you use more BTUs per square foot. Next. Okay, as I mentioned before, we have some mounting kits. On the far left, we have our standard mounting kit. So basically, it's a pretty simple, you hang it, you've got the spots already there, you can screw it in the ceiling or wherever you want to put it. And the spot, you don't have to worry about where the screws go because they're right there. Now, sometimes you get into situations where, not necessarily things going to line up. So the screws could be in other different locations. So we have what we call the ultimate kit. We have one for the 20 and we have another one for the 40 and 50. We also have an extension pole that you could literally push the heater away from the hanging out another 14 inches and then hang it. Next. Okay, I mentioned earlier about the optional low clearance ceiling mounting kit. Sometimes you want to put it in a situation like you have a wood roof or whatever, don't have a lot of hanging height, so you want to get as close as you can to the ceiling within your clearances. So this is what this particular mounting kit does. It allows you to get closer to the ceiling. And way over in the corner there, as you can see, for a 20,000, you can get as close as 3 inches. And for a 40 and 50,000, you can get as close as 9 inches. Next. Okay, coverage. It's just a small little example where it'll give you approximate coverage. For example, if you have an 8-foot hanging height, your area would be 8 feet and 8 feet times 2. So basically 8 feet times 16 feet is what it works out to be. So your total square foot and the coverage of that here would be 128 square feet. Next. Okay, when do you use what heater? The more breezier or here's a couple examples here. Southern California, cool nights, breezy location. So a HAB 40 would work there. Sometimes you get in Northern California where you get cold nights with windy location, then you'd go up to a 50,000. So you kind of match the B2Z heaters with A, the hanging height, and B, the environment. Next. Okay.
Moving on from our even low.
Video, Christian, here he goes.
Moving on from our even low, our next product line.
Can't see the video, Christian.
And we have 3 different sizes with 2 different finishes.
Yep, so the habanero is a spot heater. Spot heating is ideal for any kind of application with very busy ceilings. So you have ceiling fans, you have TVs, you have other obstacles like sprinklers even. If we need to fit something nice and tight and small in the ceiling to radiate down, this is the ideal solution because this is only 33 inches and this one is 48.
We have 2 different types of hanging systems. We have the standard hanging system, which is over here on the stainless steel version. And then we have what we call the ultimate hanging system, which is on the black one here. The difference between the two is the stainless one over here is basically for straight up and down, everything lines up away you go. You get into a situation where you really can't line the holes up, you don't know where they're going to be, and you want to be able to tilt it better, or put a hole out, which we also have an extension on the ultimate package, by the way. Then you would use that particular one.
Yep, so again, only available in natural gas at the moment, that's pretty important. They are 2-stage, so we have a high-low fire on each model. 24 volt is needed to control with our factory switch like Gary talked about with the even glow. And then really the hard specs and features of this unit can be found on our websites, but some key ones are what, Gary?
Well, one of them is the length. For example, the 40,000 and the 50,000 is 48 inches long and the 20,000 is 33 inches long. And that's very good for getting in small confined spaces. You can't put a longer heater in or something else. They're very good for that as well. One of the key features about the habaneros is that it's German made and the tiles are from Germany. So they're very good quality. Another thing about the heater is there's no blower, which means no noise.
Oh, that's good. So when we're looking at these units, you have to consider hanging height. And because of this intensity, it's a very high intensity, so shorter wavelength, it's going to feel hotter than your conventional tube heater. So the M20, our smallest unit, that's almost like a per table heater. You want to hang that around 7 to 8 feet off the floor. And then with these, we have the M40 and the M50 at 4 feet wide. So the M40 by far hits the sweet spot about 9 to 11 feet. And then the M50 is very hot. There's no joke about that. You're at a very high ceiling height there, like looking at 12 to 15 feet for an effective coverage.
One other thing I'd like to mention is that at any point in time, anybody needs any help in terms of which product to choose or how to lay it out, you're more than welcome to either contact us or one of our suppliers, and we can help you with that. Moving on from our
Okay, next product we're going to talk about is our even tube. Before we move to the next one, as you see in the top, anyone who's an avid golfer and has been in the States might recognize that. That's Top Golf. They use quite a bit of our even tubes in their facilities. Next. Change the slides. Okay. Some of the features of the even tube is we have a very low clearance on top, as low as 4 inches. The heater can either be ceiling mounted or wall mounted. We have a 100% efficient reflector in all models. So what it means is all the infrared that's created in that heater will get to the ground. It comes in natural gas or LP. We have 2 different types, the ETS, which we use strictly outdoors only. And then for those who either A, want to use them in an enclosed facility or a residential garage, we have an ETS-V, same heater, but can be vented. They come with a standard grill. Now the recommended hanging height for these heaters is somewhere between 9 and 16 feet. So you would pick your BTUs based on that. And one of the features the ETS-V has, as you can see over in the lower left-hand corner, if Christian can play that, is sometimes when these heaters expand and contract, they'll make a noise, which is typically what normally happens. What we have here, we devise an expansion mechanism so that prevents that from happening. So that's what that little video is showing. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, we have various different kind of heaters. We have for the 40s, we can either go straight down, which is what you see over there, ceiling mount, or you can hang them at a 30-degree angle, which is below. And they come in both for the 40 and 50s, which come 9 feet long. Your ETS 60, 80s, and 100s are 17 feet long. So they have a few more hangers. Now, what we also have too is for those that are going on combustible walls, we have a new hanger, which is on the left side, which you see in the drawing there. Next. Next slide. Okay, this here shows you the sizes and the lengths. So as I said earlier, the 40,000 and the 50,000 come in 9 feet. The ETS 60, ETS 80, and the ETS 100 come in 17-foot lengths. All of them are approved for outdoor and only outdoor. The ETS V40 and the ETS V80 come a little longer because they have to be vented. So the 40 will come in 12 feet and the 80 comes in 22 feet. Next. Again, coverage, basically, it's whatever height and length length would be whatever length it is. For example, a 9 foot would be 9 and 2 feet on either side, and the hanging height. So if I'm hanging the thing 9 feet high, I'd have roughly 11, 13 feet long and 18 feet wide. So basically around 234 square feet. Next. Okay, this shows the coverage of our heater compared to some of the others. On the left, you see how our ETS 100 covers for floor temperature. And on the right, you see one of our competitors and how it covers. Our shield makes a big difference in terms of the efficiency of the heater, which is something we have over a lot of our competitors in terms of getting that energy to the floor. In this case, getting it on top of the people. Next.
Okay, our last product we're going to talk about is the ETS and the ETS-V. The ETS and ETS-V are a patio slimline tube. And one of the main features we have with the ETS, of course, is the way it looks. Very sleek, and as you can see by there, our shield, the burner, everything looks basically like they're all part of one unit. They look very nice.
Yeah, so like Gary said, what we did was we took the conventional tube heater with the burner in the tube and unified it into one slim look. So this is only an 8-inch profile, and it's actually the slimmest heater in the market. So what we can achieve from that is aesthetics and also a nice tight clearance too. So we can tuck it up into the ceiling, not have to worry about anything over top, as you would with maybe a typical burner box sticking up on the one end. So the rates and lengths do vary by model. The ETS, you have a 9-foot and a 17-foot heater. The ETS-V, which is the vented model, you have a 12-foot and a 22-foot model. The BTUs will range at different lengths, but other than that, there are some other finishes too, right?
Yes, the finishes, you can have it in marine grade aluminum, you can have it in black, or you can have it in stainless steel. The controls are low voltage, and you can use our two-stage switch as well, or you can use your own, whatever you prefer. You could either have one running, or you can have 3 or 4 running on the same switch. It's up to you. Again, like we said before, if you need any help laying it out, you're more than welcome to contact us or one of our distributors, and we'll gladly do it for you.
Yeah, so similar to the habanero segment, there are different applications that call for this technology as the primary solution. So here you're covering much more space with one heater, opposed to maybe needing 2 or 3 habaneros to cover the same space as an ETS. So if you're looking at a nice large patio, some walls, maybe some pergolas or overhangs, or overhead structures, this would be ideal. Natural gas or propane, right?
Correct. And one of the main customers we have in the US is Topgolf. And they use it to heat not only the people who are doing the driving, but the people who are doing the eating. And they work quite nicely. This heater is a high output heater, and that's on its own outside. The ETS-V, on the other hand, is an indoor and outdoor heater that you have to vent through either C-vent or stainless steel. That heater is particularly a little longer than the other one for that reason, and the flue gas temperatures have to be cooler when you're venting from inside. So, for example, an ETS-V40, like you want to use in your garage, you would vent it like any other tube heater that you have.
ETS and ETS-V have fixed hanging points. That means we're locked into certain locations along the heater where we can either attach chain, gripple kit, or our factory brackets. So we try to make life easy for you guys. We have a ceiling horizontal bracket that Gary's holding right there. We have a ceiling bracket that angles the heater. So this would be good for perimeter heating and you're trying to shoot the heat back into the middle of the space. And then we have a wall bracket that again mounts it at 30 degrees. Our fixed positions are 30 degrees or 0 degrees. We feel that 30 degrees is a much more efficient position than 45 degrees. We minimize the heat loss there. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Now we're coming to the close of our presentation. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us. And as I reiterate, if you need any help at all, feel free to call us and we'll do our best to meet your needs.
Yep, stay safe.
Okay, this one here,
Okay.
what we have here is some frequently asked questions that come up, so we can review some of them. Can an ETS heater be utilized for indoor and outdoor? As we said before, no, it can't be used for indoor. That's why we have the ETSV. Can I install an ETSV in a garage? Yes, you can. As far as recommendation height, I wouldn't go any lower than 7 feet minimum. In Canada, it's 7. In the US, it's 8 feet. Although you can hang it higher. So if you got a 9 or 10-foot garage, not a problem. What is the installation considerations of an even glow or even tube or habanero? It varies. Even glow, you would use it most likely in an open, wide space where you'll have no heat, no structures at all to hang them from. You want something you can move around, you know, the tables shift around, that kind of thing. Of course, we mentioned before in Boston Pizza, we have them hanging in the ceiling, and they are able to move the tables or whatever they want to do below without any problems with the poles, etc. Even tubes are great for anything that you want to cover a longer area and you have some kind of roof structure to hang it from. Habaneros, as we mentioned before, the best they are is for spot heating. So anything which is a small area that you want to get a lot of heat in a very small area. Okay, does SRP offer brackets for the habanero and even tube? Yes, we do. We talked about them before. The habanero has 2 different kinds of hanging brackets, and the even tube has either straight down or you can hang them at a 30-degree. Are there main differences between clearance to combustibles and clearance to material? Yes, there is. Clearance to combustibles is something we calculate based on a formula for any material that would, you know, like wood or anything along that lines that CSA we have to test for. Clearance to material is more common sense. For example, I wouldn't want to, even though I may meet the clearance to combustibles on a particular heater, but if the ceiling's made out of plastic, I want to be careful first to make sure whatever heat is generated doesn't melt or warp the plastic. So that's kind of the difference why we asked 2 different questions. What product should I pick for my customer? What sort of application? Of course, that varies depending on the application. When anyone calls me up and says, hey, what heater should I use? I ask a lot of questions first. You know, where is it going? Do you have any structures, the size, how high is it going to hang? So you want to get as much information as you can first before you start deciding which is the best heater. And that's why we're here for. If you need any help, you're more than welcome to either contact one of our reps or contact us and we'll help you through that. What is the recommended controls for these heaters? For the most part, they're a 2-stage switch. A couple of the even glows have their own dial, but yes, it's mostly a 2-stage switch. A thermostat's kind of pointless outside, so unless you're inside a garage, then you could use an ETSV and use a thermostat there and be a 2-stage switch. And the warranty. Warranty is about 3 years. For the most part, it's 3 years. Next. Okay, this is something we were asked. It's pretty well common sense stuff. Like, you know, don't put the heater where someone can trip over it or you can knock it over. Be careful, you know, where you put it so you're not too close to things. This is something that came out as safety guidelines. A lot of this stuff is common sense stuff. It's more for I think homeowners, when you actually go through it, you know, prepare equipment for inclement weather, detect leaks and holes, safety, these kind of things. But it's there and you can download it if you want. Next. And that's it. So at this point, we can take any questions if there is any.
Hi, Gary. It's Loretta on the line. I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing the presentation with us today. I do have a couple of questions. I do realize that the video was a little choppy, and we will be working on that.
Yeah,
and I apologize. We apologize for that.
That's okay.
But not a not a problem. I do have a couple questions here, so I'm going to read them out. And Gary, if you want to
Yep.
answer them as they go along. So this one is from Saroj Acharya. It's what happens to the umbrella if the tube heater is hanging 9 feet above the floor level?
90 feet or 9 feet?
Nine.
What happens to the umbrella? If we're talking a hang and even glow heater?
You know, I think it was the even glow that he was talking to, but I can actually Saroj, if you want, I can allow you to talk and you can ask your question verbally. As just see here. Saroj?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can hear you. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question is tube heater in the patio, if it is 9 feet above the floor level, then there are like umbrellas, those with the table.
Oh, those would be considered, I see what you mean. Well, umbrellas below. You're not talking about the actual heater. Well, again, you got to watch your clearances. I don't know what the umbrella is made out of or what the material it is. So you have to make sure you don't have an umbrella directly underneath the tube heater. I mean, you'll get the clearances of each heater, and that varies depending on the BTUs of the heater, whether it's a 40,000 or 100,000. Okay, it's like anything else. The other thing we mentioned before is you may meet the clearances. Just be careful; it isn't made out of plastic or something. A lot of umbrellas are made out of a heavy vinyl and stuff, so it's not really an issue. But for those type, you just have to make sure you meet your clearances and you'll be fine. As far as the ones that are made out of like a plasticky material, you might want to be careful there and test it first before I'd run it, because you don't want them warping or melting. But for the most part, it's never been an issue. You know, most restaurant owners are pretty smart that way. So we haven't had too many problems there.
Okay, thanks. Because on the brochure, the clearance is given from the floor level, not from the umbrella level. So
the clearances are generally given from the heater to whatever combustibles are below. Whether it's on top or the side, it doesn't, whether it's a floor or whether it's a piece of wood, it doesn't matter. It's always measured from the bottom of the heater to below. So for example, if it tells you you got a 40-inch clearance below, that it doesn't necessarily have to be the floor. It could be, anything, a table, whatever, that's the way that we don't do it based on floor, because the floor height could range, right?
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, Saroj, do you want to ask your other question as well? Confirming if ETS?
Yeah, just confirming if the tube heater ETS model. So my understanding is we can install without venting. Is that correct?
That is correct. The ETS, if it's outside, it can be installed, no problems, without venting. If you have to do it inside and it's an enclosed area, then you have to vent it. And that's the ETS V model.
Thank you very much. That's it.
Sure.
Okay, that's wonderful. I have a couple more questions.
Yep.
And one is from, let me just mute Saroj. I have one from Hugo Gringas. For one hanging, is it better to have it direct under or in diagonal opposite side?
What are we hanging?
Good question. Okay, good question. So let me just go back and I'm going to, hi Hugo, do you want to ask your question verbally?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you have like a heater hanging up like about 9 feet above, why don't you do that on a patio? Would it be better to have it directly under where people will be sitting, or like if you have a square patio and they're sitting more on one side, or have it in diagonal on the opposite side?
I think for direct heat, if you calculate it properly and you pick the right size heater, remember these are two-stage, so you do have options. But I usually, if I have a patio, let's say 10 feet by 10 feet, I would usually put it down the middle and I'd hang it directly over top of them. And then that way they have the freedom. It will cover twice the hanging height. So, if I'm hanging at 10 feet below, it will cover 10 feet on either side, if we're talking to ETS here. And if the length of the heater is, say, 9 feet, it will go 9 feet. Or if you get the bigger ones, it goes 17 feet. And then it'll be twice that hanging height. So for me, I try to get underneath the people if I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have one from Asif Khan. I've just unmuted Asif, do you want to ask your question? Is there a measuring device, Asif?
Hello?
Yeah, hold on, he's just unmuting himself.
Okay, sure.
I'll ask the question in any case, and when he gets
Okay.
on the line, it's okay. Oh, Asif, you're there. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so it's just like we have few devices to measure light or something which is in the form of radiation. Is there any device you can measure the radiation on any particular height or you know what I'm talking about?
What we measure is to test our heaters, as we showed in the presentation, we'll measure the temperature on the floor, and that tells us how much energy has actually reached the floor and how much has been dispersed in other places. And when we did comparison with our competitors, and that's what you see on the presentation there, you'll see how much of the energy is actually in the floor by the temperature of the floor. We don't actually measure, well, first of all, it's not radiation anyway. It's infrared, so it's just light. But the light will heat up an object that it hits. So for us, we measure the temperature on the floor, and that's how we know how it's spreading around, and we base it on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have another question here from Kent. I'm going to unmute you as well. Okay, Kent.
My question is on all your vented bottles. Is it just a standard 4-inch venting system?
Yes, you have a choice. You can either use 26 gauge C-vent and make sure you see all the joints, and that's acceptable. And if you're going through a wall, you'd use a wall thimble, and it's a 4-inch. Or you can use what they call, if someone wants something that looks nice, of course, you can always go with the stainless steel 4-inch pipe as well.
Yeah, here in Alberta, they pretty much have mandated everything stainless steel venting.
Okay, but CSA, which is in our manual, which pretty well goes across Canada and North America, we've been approved to use 26 gauge C-vent. I know I had one of the inspectors from Alberta contact us, and we already sent them the information on that, because there was some misinformation out there that for whatever reasons they thought they had to use stainless steel, and that is not true. In fact, in our manual, it does say very clearly you can use either one. So if there's a guy giving you an issue in Alberta, you can contact our engineer, George. He'll explain it to him or send him the information.
Perfect.
All right. No more? Okay, great. If anyone else has any questions, you can either put it into the Q&A section, or and I'll see it, and I'll make your voice heard. Oh, I do have a question here. Just give me one moment. Let's see, from Bogdan. Bogdan, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna unmute you, Bogdan. Hi, Bogdan. Can you want to ask your question? You have to unmute.
If he's asking about the 24 volt, he would bring that in through a transformer to the heaters. We use a transformer for those that require it. The ETSs don't need it. You just run a 24 volt wire to them because it has its own transformer inside the box. The Even Glow or the Habaneros, we supply a transformer that allows you to do that, to convert to 24 volt.
Well, I hope your question was answered, Bogdan. I'm going to just mute you. I have another one that just came in from Gord Jones. Yes, the presentation will be available later, and that was his question. And we'll be sending that out roughly in a few hours after this event ends. And I just got to thank you from Bogdan. So if anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. You know, Gary, do you have any last words that you want to sort of say about some of the products, or how people can get in touch with you? Yeah, sure. We have a website. It's easy to contact us through that. Very informative website, actually. We also are on Vim, so if anyone's information, they can get it from that as well. Or they can contact us directly, either go through one of our distributors, depending on where you're located. In Ontario, they'll call straight to us, but if you're in Alberta, you can contact our rep there. And
or you can email us and we can answer any question you have, and we will help if you need it for any kind of layout or design. And that's about it.
Okay, well, we don't have any other questions. I want to say thank you so much for you, Gary. And I cannot remember your technician's name. Sorry?
Christian.
Christian, yes, Christian,
Yes.
for putting the presentation on. Really
You're
do
welcome.
appreciate it. Oh yeah, no problem.
Well, I have to mention one thing before we get
Yeah,
off.
sure,
The gentleman that was helping me in the video was Justin Merritt, and he's the business development manager. He also has been with IR Energy, which is the name of the product, since the beginning.
Okay, great then. Well, thank you so much. Really do appreciate this. This will be available for everybody after the presentation's over, and we'll be sending a recording out as well. We'll be sending out a survey, and if everyone can please give us their feedback and give us an idea of what else you'd like to hear about. Thank you again, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.